Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of XFL Newsroom Live. I'm here with my man JDash from the XF Podcast, and we're talking XFL team schedules and ticket sales. How are you doing tonight, sir? We may have lost him. It wouldn't be a live stream if there wasn't some technical difficulties. Let me try to ring this fella back. Give me one more second here. So, while we're trying to do this, how's everybody's night going today? I see we have a few people in the chat. Hey, Jake H. Hey, J-Dash. I see you in the chat as well. Sorry we kicked you out there. Let's see if he can pick up. Otherwise, we may be going solo. We'll see. Maybe we'll have some other people chime in. I don't know. But yeah, today's big news, we have the ticket sales and we have the team schedules. We have a few statistics about them, and we'll run through kind of all the details here in a minute. But we're just going to try to sort out these technical difficulties in the moment. Let me just ping him here. So I just pinged him there. So while we're waiting for him, let's just move over. Let's just take a look at the schedule here and see pretty much what we're looking at. So the big thing to look at here is the first game, the first televised XFL game, the first XFL game to take place, period, is going to be the Dragons at the Defenders. We're going to try to give J-Dash another call here. And then that's followed up by LA at Houston, which I know I'm going to be there. I hope you're there if you're in the Houston area. Hey, you back now, my man?
Yeah, don't hang up on me now.
Hey, that was not me. I even called you back, and you didn't answer. But either way, we're back. How are you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing groovy. We got games to look forward to now,
Dude,
which is awesome.
I'm excited. So you're going to be at DC, at least for the first game, right?
Correct.
Live podcast?
We're going to do a live on-site show for the kickoff of the 2020 season at Washington, D.C. Carlos, the WrestleMania guy, will be there. He'll be hosting the event, kind of. I'm making him hosting it. But XF Podcast will be live there. You know, we're trying to get this as an actual event, try and get people involved and, meet and greet. I'm going to do something that other podcasts may not be doing that are not associated with the company. So, yeah, that's what we're looking forward to, and I can't wait. Week 1, it's going to be nice after the Patriots win the Super Bowl, then go up to D.C. and represent the XFL.
We're probably the only two football fans that would admit to being a Patriots fan. I fought it off for a long time. I won't lie. But, I am a Lions fan, so you always have to have the Lions and then a playoff team, and it's the Patriots. You just can't hate Tom Brady. I don't know. I don't get it. But either way, so you're going to be at the very first XFL game. That's pretty damn exciting.
Yes, we were at the first AAF game. It was nice.
Well, don't bring that kind of luck to this situation.
Hopefully we're not the bad omen of the group, but we're looking forward to. We've been playing them for 2 years now, so now we're down to a couple months. So if anyone's interested in joining the Extreme Football Podcast live in DC, just give me and Carlos a holler, and we'll set things up. We'll have a good time, a little tailgate, some beers, and go watch some football and get this show on the road for 2020. Almost said 2018, but 2020.
2020, baby. 2020 vision. And the good news is I don't have to wait much longer than you, because I'll be at the second game that day. So we have at least the kickoff day covered, right? So Between the XF podcast and the XFL newsroom, we got you covered, baby. Now, day 2, hey, I don't mind talking about some football from the comfort of my own lounge chair. So, you never know what you're going to see. But we're definitely, both of us, going to be doing some live streaming at different points of the day. And if you're in Houston or DC, come and hang out with either of us. I know I'm going to be tailgating. Sounds like you're going to be tailgating. Hopefully have some good music and some good times. But LA at Houston for week 1, that should be a good one as well. I don't know if you know much about Texas. But we're not very fond of Californians. Now, I don't particularly mind them, but I'm not a native Texan. But I expect that to be an exciting game, right? So that's day one. Day two of week one, we have the Vipers at New York and the Battlehawks, interestingly enough, in Dallas. So, at least according to the public records that we have on the Globe Life transition, it sounded like that stadium wasn't going to be ready for week one. So it sounds like they may have put a little pep in their step and maybe hurried construction here. But it'll be interesting to see because they're going to have to meet that deadline. I'm curious why they just didn't have it in St. Louis. The dome's ready. But either way, I'm excited. I'm excited for really all these games. I think when I look at least week one, maybe the Vipers in New York might be the snooze fest for me. But that's just my opinion. We're all allowed to have one. Let me ask you, week one, taking out the fact that you're going to be in D.C., what's your pick of the week? What do you think is the best one on this list here?
Oh, it has to be the Battlehawks and the Renegades. The reason why is because you got two of the top currently right now in the social media world. You have the two teams in the XFL who are kicking butt to the fans that are buying tickets at St. Louis and Dallas. You gotta go with the two cities that are going to be maybe your flagship cities. And like you said, it should be in the Dome, a bit more of a bigger crowd. But from what it sounds like in Dallas, I think me and you both tweeted it out last week when the schedule came out for St. Louis, which is completely accurate, by the way.
Sign us up.
Yeah, we broke that first, by the way, not the other sites. And then I confirmed that St. Louis will be playing Dallas the first week. But the question means that I saw the news about the stadium. I'm like, are you sure about this? Then I got reliable source. I might be having a conversation with a certain coach in the Dallas area, not the big boss, maybe one of the OCs or DCs. I'm working on that because other news related to my alma mater. I had to dig into some information. That's another student another day that is different. We're talking about schedule. I'm more looking forward to saying, even though I'm going to be there in D.C. getting drunk with my boy and having fun with the fans, on Sunday I'll be recovering most likely, or returning back for a flight, and hopefully catching some Battlehawks and Renegades. I almost said Rough Riders, but Renegades.
Yeah, it's I know I do that a lot too, and I'm local to the area. Luckily, I haven't said it to anybody who works there yet. Right. I tend to agree with you. I think that Battlehawks Renegades game is going to be top notch, and it'll also give Hayes kind of an opportunity to make a name for himself. I would say when you look at the list of coaches on the list, he's probably the one with the least coaching experience. But I think he's also going to be one of the more experimentative ones, other than June Jones. June Jones, he will do what he wants when he wants. Yeah. It's going to be a madhouse in Houston, which, like I said, just having that LA matchup, I think that was smart, right? Week two, so we have New York at DC. So DC's home 2 weeks in a row. We have Vipers at Seattle.
Nice.
Dallas at LA. What's that?
I said that's a nice travel, Tampa Bay to Seattle. That's a nice travel.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Well, and then they're on the road both weeks too. The first 2 weeks, so they're going from New York, probably back to Tampa Bay, and then to Seattle. Which
I expected Tampa to host the first 2 weeks because of the weather issues.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I thought we would see a lot of Houston, a lot of Dallas, LA, and
St. Louis.
And St. Louis is easy because they have the dome. But yeah, interestingly enough,
we got element games right off the bat, and especially in D.C. And we're going to have in New York in the week one.
Ooh, those are going to be cold games up north. Yeah, New York. Those early half-season games are going to be chilly. And yeah, D.C. as well. It's a little bit more mild there, but it's not anything I would like to do.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But then we have another Texas-California matchup: Dallas at L.A. And then Battlehawks at Houston, which I'm excited for that one too, right? I'm curious to see if the Battlehawks are big just in St. Louis, or if they bring out their own crowd out here. Now, I don't know.
I do think they don't have a good fan following that follows them. I do believe so.
Yeah. It's going to be fun either way. I'm glad that Houston has 2 home games to kick off the season, at least one Saturday, one Sunday game. Week 3, so Houston going on the road to Tampa Bay, Dallas at Seattle, New York at St. Louis, and then the Defenders at Los Angeles, the Wildcats. I don't know if there's any matchups here that stand out to me right off the bat, but again, we haven't seen any of these teams play by this point in the season. We're probably going to see some of the strengths and furthermore, some of the weaknesses of these teams.
Well, the game that's shines for me is St. Louis, their first home game.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the marquee matchup that week.
And that's why ESPN has that game.
Yeah. And I have a couple stats, and we'll run through that here once we get through this schedule. But it's interesting to see what teams are getting the most coverage on broadcast TV as opposed to cable TV. But we'll run through some of that here as well.
Wait, so it's not on Bleacher Report?
Yeah, no. You don't need to use an app to stream it to your TV or plug in your laptop or anything like that. This is like a legit football organization. It was funny at the Houston post-draft party. I was talking to a guy, and he's new to the team, right? And you kind of, when you do this as much as you and I do, you kind of forget that some of the other fans aren't really caught up as much as we are, right?
Oh no! That's awesome. That's a great. I have a story to tell after you say this. Keep going. See what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure. So I was talking to this guy, and he asked me, he's like, so where are these going to be on TV? Are they streaming them? Is it going to be on the WWE network? And once I started listing, Fox, ABC, ESPN, FS1, his eyes kind of lit up. He's like, wow, this is like legit. And same thing. He started talking about the AAF, and he said most, if not all, he said most except for the first game of the season with the AAF. The rest of them he watched on YouTube with the bootleg streams. And believe me, I saw they would pop up on my recommended feed in YouTube, and I saw they were getting like 10, 20 grand viewers, but none of the benefits, right? The good thing we know with the WWE, at least, right, and I would assume this would cascade down, is they have their eye on these types of things. I really don't expect anybody getting away with streaming an XFL game. I assume those are going to be flagged very quickly. Some people will like that, some people will dislike that, but the good news, as we've kind of mentioned, a lot of these games are just on free TV. All you need is an antenna. You don't need cable or anything. And then even the ones that are on cable, their names they're not, it's not on like Sci-Fi or whatever. I don't even know what else. TBS is actually a pretty decent network, but it's not number one, right? But yeah, I think that in itself is going to do the XFL justice, right? Just to jump forward real quick, you look at the 2 Thursday night games. Those are on Fox, right? Broadcast television, prime time. Thursday night games generally aren't the best, but I think we have 2 decent Thursday night games lined up. But we'll get to that. So we were at week 4. So moving on to week 5, we have Seattle at Houston, New York at Dallas, Battlehawks at Defenders, and we have the Vipers in LA. And this is another good week of matchups. Again, I'm curious to see how the Dragons are, but I'm hoping that we rough them up here in Houston. New York, I think, is going to be one of those sleeper teams. I think they're actually going to be, pretty decent, but Bob Stoops is, he's the man, right? Battlehawks at DC, that should be pretty decent. And again, to me, the one soft one of the week would probably be the Vipers in LA. But by this point in the season, I could be completely wrong, right? Those could be our top teams, right?
No problem. Like, I was just looking at the schedule week 5, and I'm like, okay, intriguing. You finally get New York and Dallas. You get that rivalry between those 2 cities. Mm-hmm. But St. Louis, DC could. I know you got fans out there who listen to us. St. Louis, DC might be the top 2 teams in the East. This could be a preview of the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
and they play each other twice, and this is the first time you get to see them. Hopefully, because I've looked at all the rosters. Everyone's going to give you your own opinion. I think the Battlehawks and DC have the two best rosters in the East. And that Sunday, March 8th at 3 o'clock, FS1, which was on, I wish it was on Fox, but anyways, I think that could be the sign of who wins the East, and maybe Houston, Seattle could be the West. We don't know about the Desperados, but for some odd reason, when I think of Tampa Bay, I just think duds.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate to say that, but me too. I don't know why. I feel bad, but I'm hoping they prove me wrong. I just hope they don't prove me wrong and beat Houston.
We've seen or followed NFL, college for years. There's always, that marquee team that has struggles throughout the year, and they need that key win at the end of the year to make the playoffs, and a team that's been eliminated from the playoffs weeks ahead of time are the ones that come up and bite you in the butt and ruin your season. For some odd reason, I think that's going to be Tampa Bay.
Yeah. I think you're right. You kind of have, it's like a trap game, but
exactly.
Week 6, so we have Houston at New York, St. Louis at Tampa Bay, Dallas in DC, and LA in Seattle. The ones that jump out to me is Dallas and DC again, right? Or is this the first time they're playing here?
This is the first time.
But I think that one's going to be a good matchup. Same thing with LA, Seattle. I have a feeling that those teams are going to mesh well, at least for a competitive advantage there. The rest of the games, they're going to be good regardless. But really, by this point in the season, who knows? You know what I mean? We should have a good idea of who is possibly going to the playoffs. But
at week 6, no.
Well, it depends, right? You looked at, what was it, the Apollos for the AAF. I think by week 6, everybody kind of knew, okay, they're at least going to make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, when you have, Atlanta in your conference. Who was the other team that was in their conference? Memphis. Yeah. We had Memphis and Atlanta. You knew Birmingham and Orlando were going to clinch. Yeah, you bring up a good point. Which they're the only two teams that clinched in the AAF. They never played in the playoffs. They clinched to postseason berth.
Man, that still baffles me to this day. I've never seen such a thing where a company has shut down in the middle of its first season.
Yeah, it sucks.
It is a bummer. I would have liked, especially because they moved the championship game from Vegas to Texas and up in Dallas. But the tickets were like $20, and I'm glad they didn't go on sale, or I would have never gotten my money back. So we're lucky there. Week 7, Dallas in Tampa Bay, LA in St. Louis. That should be a good one. This is the first time we're seeing those teams. That is going to be just a huge built-in rivalry, just for the reasons that everybody knows. Of St. Louis has lost a couple teams, but most recently they've lost that team to LA. I think that happened twice, actually, but I could be wrong on that. Well, New York in Seattle, and Defenders in Houston, which I'm excited about, and that has the late night Sunday game. But yeah, what do you think? LA at the Dome, I think that's going to be packed. I think even if it dies down from week 1 to week 6, week 7, regardless how that team's doing, I think the Battlehawks, the caw-caw, if you will, whatever the hashtags these kids are using nowadays,
ready to engage or something like that. Yeah, I think it's Battlehawks.
They're going to be filling that dome. That dome should be at maximum capacity, just to show the people that took the team and moved it to St. Louis what they're missing out on. Now, granted, it's a different situation. I don't know if they can necessarily do that with the Rams because they didn't lose anything. But either way, we're in that situation now. I think St. Louis fills that place up. New York, Seattle, I think that's going to be a competitive one as well. Just looking at least at the coaching staffs, Gilbride and, his name is Zorn. God, his name escaped me for a second there. But that should be a good week matchups here. Then week 8, Tampa Bay in DC, St. Louis in New York, Houston in LA, and then Seattle in Dallas. None of these, again, really jump out at me. Maybe St. Louis, New York. That one seems pretty good. Again, I'm a fond of the Texas-California rivalries. So, of course, I'll be all about Houston in L.A. Any of these stick out to you?
Actually, this is going to be different, and they don't all stick out to me, but they all have something in common. Week 8, Week 9, and Week 10, all division games.
Yeah.
This is where, you get to Week 7, you're all non-conference are done. Then you get Week 9, Week 10, or Week 8, Week 9, Week 10. It's playoff football. Playoff football starts Week 8. So you got, Tampa Bay. It depends on how many teams where they are in the standings. I can tell you right now, I'm going to guarantee you can lock it up, you can sign it up, or you can do whatever you want, people. There will be a team that clinches a postseason berth in Week 8. There will be one.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
And my guess is going to be St. Louis.
St. Louis, I could see D.C., Dallas, maybe. Yeah, definitely. I think this is what's so fun about the first season. Like next year, we're going to be able to talk about this with a little bit of experience, right? We're going to have a little bit of knowledge just looking at the things that are going to happen this year, right? But This is what makes this more fun. It's we know the coaches, we know the players, we know what they can do, but we just don't know what they're going to do, right?
Correct.
Week 9, that kicks off first Thursday night game. Interestingly enough, Dallas is in both Thursday night games, one at home, one away, which I'm excited for because the first one's in Houston. Dallas at Houston, first Thursday night game. Again, broadcast TV, Fox, not Fox Sports 1, not Fox Sports 2, regular Fox, both of these games. I think that's huge news, right? Then one Saturday game. So then we have D.C. at New York, Tampa Bay in St. Louis, and Seattle in L.A. All of these are going to be, I think, pretty good matchups, right? And like I said, if our intuitions, you'll say, are true, and Tampa Bay really is kind of that soft team of the league, this is where they're going to strike. It's either going to be against St. Louis or it's going to be New York, which is the week after. And I feel like one of those teams is going to get the bamboozle off of a win from Tampa Bay. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Week 10, like I said, L.A. at Dallas. So California-Texas rivalry. Houston going on the road for the last game of the year in Seattle. D.C. in the Dome, which makes sense. If you're not going to kick off the season with the Dome, you might as well close it out. And then New York at Tampa Bay to close out the season. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Dallas, LA, probably a bigger name, or even close it out the whole thing with the Dome. But maybe they know something that we don't know.
Well, look at Sunday, April 12th. Games time to be announced. Meaning the game that's going to get the more of the spotlight will be a game that has playoff implications.
Very good eye. I did not notice that. That is a good thing. That's very interesting. Yeah, so one is going to go either way, basically.
We will know who the two representatives of the Western Conference will be on Thursday and on Saturday. We will know one side of the bracket.
Yeah.
Then that following Sunday, we'll know the East. And I'm just going to make a prediction. The DC versus St. Louis game is going to be the same first-round matchup in the playoffs. Just giving you a little nugget there.
Hot take.
Yep.
I like it.
But I see Houston and Seattle, the winner of that, taking the number 2 seed. I'm already telling you who I think is going to win the West. I think Dallas is going to win the West, in my opinion. Houston will be the 2, with Seattle, Houston being the 2 teams battling for the 2 spot. I don't think LA is going to be a threat. I think they back off later in the year, but it's all speculation right now, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I'm perfectly fine with either of those Texas teams taking the West just so I have an extra opportunity to go see another game, right? Assuming these games are on home turf, I would assume they would be. The championship game, on the other hand, well, actually, before we get to the championship game, let's talk about the playoffs. So they're a little bit different than the original XFL. So the original XFL, it was the best in the East versus the best in the West, and the second in the West versus second in the East, I believe. Yes. And then the winner. So you could essentially have a championship games with 2 teams in the East or 2 teams in the West. This is guaranteed. This is different. We have East 1 versus 2, West 1 versus West 2. So you're going to get an East versus West game in the championship, which The location is to be determined. This isn't notated on this, but Oliver Luck recently stated that they'll be talking about the location of the championship game. Now, I think, to me, the obvious choice, I think you'll agree with me, the obvious choice is Las Vegas. There's a couple reasons, right? Hey, thanks, Dave, for subscribing, sign you up, and hey, anybody else, if you're subscribing, your name will show up on the screen as well, but sorry to deviate. A couple things to point out about the Vegas thing. So, championship game takes place one day after ESPN's coverage of the NFL draft, which also takes place in Las Vegas. I think if you're going to have a neutral location, one, Vegas was already kind of an easy one. One, it's fairly inexpensive to travel there. You have a lot of people that are excited about football with the Raiders moving there. And then you add in the fact that the draft is taking place there. So you already know that there's going to be tens of thousands of football fans in that city that weekend with potentially nothing to do on a Sunday afternoon. Now, I'm just going to say, if the XFL does what they did with the regular season tickets, maybe a little bit more expensive because it's the championship game, but if they keep them affordable, that game's sold out. If this is what happens.
And the game should be played in Sam Boyd?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Because I don't think they'll put it in the... I don't even think the Raiders Stadium would be done by then, will it?
It may be, but even then, that's a long sell. That's a hard sell to me.
Yeah.
Now, would it be great? Would it be like off the chain, as the kids would say, if they could sell out wherever the Raiders are playing? I don't know what business owns the rights to that stadium.
It'll change.
Yeah. I would think Sam Boyd, for sure. One, you get that throwback to the old XFL because they played there with the Vegas Outlaws.
Of course.
Two, I think that's an easy sellout. You could probably even add some extra rafters in there. I don't know what the configuration looks like now.
40,000.
40,000. Okay, that's actually a pretty decent setup. So I think that's a perfect size for the championship game, with the game being on the weekend of the draft. I think it's going to be an easy sell. There's going to be curious people there. And again, this isn't like the old XFL. By this time in the season, because right now we still have the stragglers, the ones that don't want to believe that the XFL is going to be legit.
The ones that still call it a gimmick league.
Exactly, yeah. They're going to learn pretty quick that this is AAF, but better, right? Better production, better quality, better players, better coaches, better logos, better everything. I don't know about the merchandise. I'm just going to say this is, people like me to toe the company line, but I'm going to say one thing. The XFL merchandise is not that good yet. The quality of shirts are not that good. I'm just going to say that. I know I might get some crap for it, but I assume that will change by the time that we get to the season. I don't have any AAF merchandise, so I can't say if it's better, worse, or on par. Or I don't. The hats, the XFL hats are legit. I'll say that. The shirts, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. Tell the chat. I don't care. Championship game, though. Let's say it is in Vegas. You going?
Let's just see. Vegas, XFL, championship game. Depends. It's in April.
Should be perfect weather. Yeah, I'm planning. If it is in Vegas, I gotta go. Well, like I said, the big thing to me.
If it's in Vegas, I think, Carlos, if you're listening still, if it's in Vegas, we start the season off with a live show on location, DC. We finish it off at the XFL Championship in Vegas. But this time, we join all forces together.
Yeah, and actually, I know a few other folks that are at least planning on going to the championship game wherever it is. So, I don't know if you've ever met John Turner from A Football World. He does a lot of live streaming on Facebook. He's a good guy. I know he'll be there, so that'd be great for him to join us. I don't know if he's listening, but I can reach out to him separately. I would assume probably Mike Mitchell will be out there, so maybe we can connect with him. I know there's some folks from the site he works for that don't like us, but all in all, I still have a good relationship with them. I have no problem with them. I have no problem with anybody. The people that have problems are the people that have problem with me. And it may be my fault. I don't care. Yeah, whatever. We're just having fun on the internet. But either way, I think championship game almost has to be in Vegas. I thought Vegas before I even realized that the draft was going to be out there. It makes sense, and maybe, possibly, get a look at where they might try to expand. I know this year it kind of works out in their favor, but I'm curious to see where the championship game is next year. So do they follow the NFL and do kind of what smaller wrestling shows do to the WWE? Which I think that's kind of some poetic. That's very poetic in itself, right?
So you're calling the XFL AEW?
Well, I'll give AEW this. They don't do that, but I would definitely call them the Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Not so much on the quality though. Ring of Honor, I feel bad for them. They've pretty much had everyone stolen from them at this point. Between NWA, Impact Wrestling, AEW, and WWE, I don't even know who's in Impact anymore, or Ring of Honor, which is, man, poor Ring of Honor. Either way, sorry to change the subject here. So championship game. Let's run down some interesting stats here. So most games on broadcast TV, to me, those are the most valuable games to have, right? At least if you're a franchise. I would want most of my games to be on ABC or Fox rather than Fox Sports 1 or even ESPN, right? So we have at least the top three. New York with 8, Houston with 7, and Seattle with 7. So the second two tied. And at first I was surprised, but then it makes a lot of sense, right? So New York is a huge TV market. There's just a boatload of people there, right? So that makes sense to me. Houston's about to be the third largest city in the country. Probably going to happen in the next census, I would guess. We're going to knock Chicago out of its place. Seattle's the one that maybe surprises me a little bit. I would have expected maybe St. Louis or Los Angeles. But interestingly enough, St. Louis has the least games on broadcast TV. That surprises me. But maybe it doesn't so much. Maybe there is a merit to the argument of the Rams leaving for LA based on the things that they said. I don't know. What are your impressions on that? What do you think? So we have New York, Houston, Seattle leading the way, St. Louis at the bottom for broadcast TV.
Well, yeah, St. Louis may be on the bottom broadcast TV, but it's not like we're going on to some distant third-party website to go look for them.
Yes.
Fox Sports 1 is very accessible if you have basic, but not basic cable. Well, I think basic cable does have Fox Sports 1 now.
It should. And ESPN.
Yeah, it's not, it's not Fox, it's not ABC. I know what the XFL is trying to do. They're trying to get their bigger markets. And right now, New York, Houston, and Seattle are the bigger markets of the XFL. And you want to have, hopefully, I don't know why New York has the most. That's questionable to me. I'm not downing the Guardians' fan base, but I don't think they're going to fill the stadiums as big as what the Roughnecks are going to, Roughnecks and the Dragons are going to do. But what surprises me is that, St. Louis is home for 4 games. They're all home for 5. But yeah, it's not a big deal to me. It's not hard to access Fox Sports 1. It's not Bleacher Report. So
yeah, no, and I agree. Yeah, when we're looking at when I say not the best accessible, I'm just talking about all of the channels available. But yeah, all of these, even Fox Sports 2, which there's only one game on Fox Sports 2. Interestingly enough, St. Louis and Tampa Bay, which I get. That would be probably the most obscure channel in this list. But it's not even, again, I believe Fox Sports 2 probably comes in basic cable now, too. I don't know. I haven't had cable in forever. I need to get it because we have XFL coming on, but I don't because I don't watch any TV. I just watch sports and talk crap online.
Well, that's not bad. We do it here too.
Exactly. That's what we're getting signed up. So looking down the list, so I want to run through. So the most on ABC is a three-way split. We have DC, Houston, and New York. Dallas has the most games on Fox. ESPN, St. Louis, which, like we just spoke about, ESPN is a good destination. And quite honestly, I think they're really trying to work on building that channel back up to what it used to be. Not to say that it's in like dire straits, but it's definitely not where it was in the 90s. And I think, it's a two-way street here. ESPN wants to get good content on their channel during these times that the XFL's playing. Because, right, ESPN, they get baseball once a week, maybe, right? They don't have hockey. They get maybe a couple NBA games. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. So this is the time of season for ESPN.
I'm not breaking news, but I can inform you the reason why it's on Fox Sports 2, St. Louis and Tampa, if you want to know that.
Is there? Let me make a guess. I'm going to guess that there's going to be some type of playoff game during that week on Fox Sports.
It is going to be the Big 12 men's basketball tournament.
There you go. Yeah. So that one's going to be a tough one. That one's going to be a hard week for probably. We're going to see a lot, maybe a little bit of a downtick during that March Madness. I think still, though, there's enough football fans that don't watch basketball to, at minimum, sustain a good $2 million per game, at minimum.
Correct.
We'll see. It could be much higher than that. It could be lower than that, but I really don't expect it to be much lower. And this is just based off of what the AAF did. And, when you look at them being on even Bleacher Report, they got 500,000 people for some really obscure app that nobody had until the day that they needed to download it. You know what I mean? So, and I'm sure half of those people have deleted it, and the other half will just always have the Bleacher Report app on their phone for no reason now. Just like I've never deleted the AAF app, even though it doesn't work. It's one of those relics that I'm like, you know what? I want to remember you. I'm going to keep you on my home screen as a reminder of what not to do when you're trying to start a professional football league. They did a lot of good things.
Shots fired.
Yeah, they did a lot of things right. We all know it's the money. The money is really what killed them. They weren't really upfront about it. I get them not being upfront to the fans because, what do they owe me, right? To me, them not being upfront with their players and even their staff and their coaches, that's a different level.
Yeah, that's true. Because we actually have reported cases of players that were reluctant of entering the XFL draft because they believed that they were about to get, blindsided again, just like they did at the AAF. So, yeah, that is reported documentation. You can find out on Twitter. People, it's not that hard to look up. You don't need us to go find it for you.
Yeah, well, and the good thing is Vince McMahon has deep pockets, and he's already sunk in a good chunk of change into this. And I expect, like I said, if all goes well, and Season 2 has more viewers than Season 1, I think the TV deals get restructured where they're very similar. Maybe the distribution's different as far as which ones are on broadcast TV or cable. But I think the XFL starts getting some extra money on top of the broadcast costs, at least in this next schedule reconstruction of the contract. But like I said, that's what makes it fun now, right? We get to watch this. I can only imagine of being like an NFL fan when the Super Bowl started, right? The first Super Bowl, and probably a lot of people don't know this, but it was only half full. They moved everybody to one side of the stadium so it looked good on TV. Nobody would have imagined that now, right? When Super Bowl tickets, again, inflation is a big part of this as well, but tickets were $100, probably equates to maybe $1,000 or something like that. I don't know. Super Bowl tickets are not cheap. You can't get them cheap. Like, you're talking worst seat in the house. They are not cheap. Not even that cheap. So I think this is the fun point. A couple years from now, 10 years from now, we'll say it's much bigger. It's going to be a lot harder to, one, get access, right? I don't know if they're going to be they're definitely not going to be doing fan engagement events, all over the cities multiple times a month, right? In 10 years from now, if they're around, they won't need to. They might do one before the season, after the season.
They'll still do it.
I don't think they'll do them as much. I don't think, like, you look at St. Louis, they're almost doing like one a week over there. I would be hard pressed to believe that that's going to continue.
Hopefully in 10 years from now, it's not just 8 teams. We have 16 or 12 teams.
Yeah, well, and definitely. I think that's another thing. Everybody wants to talk about expansion. There's no way, I'll be amazed, but there's no way that it happens in the first 2 years. The one main reason I say that is they have TV contracts, right? So in my mind, if a television network agreed to a contract, that also takes into account the number of games, right? Because if they're going to be footing the broadcast bill, they're not going to want to pay for 15 games instead of whatever, what I mean? So that to me is a big reason why there's no way we'll see it in the first 2 seasons.
Correct.
And two, it would be stupid to do that. They need to build their fan bases where they have them. And here's another thing that I think a lot of fans are not going to want to hear. When they do expand, it's probably going to be in another NFL city, or maybe something like in Oakland where a team has recently left. But I don't think you're going to get a Birmingham team. I don't think you're going to get a team in Iowa. I don't even think you'll get one in Atlanta, even though there is an NFL team, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get one in Canada either, for that fact. But
not yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I think season 3, maybe tack on 2 teams if that goes well. Maybe tack on 2 more after season 5, and then probably cool it down for a good few more years just to see how everything goes. But it's so early. Even now, we're almost 100 days though. 100 days alert to the XFL. It's getting close. I think we're only just a few days away. I think it's 109 days. Let me just look this up so I can give you a specific number. But either way, we're getting close, and it's feeling real, right? So we have, you've been around for a while. We've had this everything going back to the spring league, or even before that, just the team locations. Now we got the locations, the spring league, the showcase, the identities and the logos, the draft. So now we have players. Tickets went on sale. Now we know when each team's going to play each other. Really, the big nuggets left. We have the rule book, which I assume is coming soon. The uniforms, which it sounds like are coming in November, at least according to the Battlehawks Twitter. And then we have some team practices, some scrimmages, and then the season. Right? It's down to the wire. Yep, 109 days left until the XFL kicks off. 109 days, think about that, until you and I are in our respective locations covering these games live on the scene at the first 2 XFL games to air. Now, I'm a little jealous of you that you got the first one, but I'm fine with number 2. I'm all right. Single tickets. So those went on sale. At least early access went on sale today. I picked up some tickets to the Roughnecks when they go and visit Dallas. And I'll say there was a little bit of a difference in the ticket prices, but it wasn't much. So comparison, if you would have gotten season tickets in that section, I believe they were $85 a ticket. And total cost after everything with regular season was about $100 and $105. So there is a little bit of a luxury tax if you want to go to one game. There's no reason for me to get single season tickets for Dallas, but I am excited to go check out Globe Life. And I purposely sat in the janky new bleachers that they're putting in because I'm curious to see if they're nicer or worse than the old seating. I might regret it. I really hope they're not just bench seating. But we will find out. And I'm also not too excited about staying in Arlington, but that goes back to when I went to Slammiversary, TNA Slammiversary a few years ago. I don't know if I ever told you that story. Probably not, but
No.
I stayed at the scariest hotel. It was like America's Best Hotel Inn or something. America's Best Inn or something really weird. And it was like they had an indoor swimming pool. The pictures online made it look sweet, right? And it was right across the street from AT&T, from the where the Cowboys play, and then the Globe Life is right across the block from that. So I was like, it was nice, easy access to everything, affordable. And I get to this place, and I've never smelled a stench so bad. It was the worst. And I'll have to dig up the picture, but my hotel room, you know how they have those chain locks?
Yeah.
Somebody must have like clipped off 3 of the links so the chain wouldn't reach the lock. And beyond that, the door was sealed. So instead of weather sealing, they had duct tape. This was the jankiest hotel. So I'm going to tell you, when I do go up there, because I'm probably going to get a hotel, because I'm probably going to have a couple beers at this game, and I'm not going to want to drive 3.5 hours back to Houston. I'm getting a hotel or probably an Airbnb nowadays. Airbnbs are my favorite thing. There are scary Airbnbs out there, just to warn you. I know we're getting a little off subject here, but I think that's what makes these shows fun. You can get an Airbnb for just a couch. So no room, no nothing. You just crashing on someone's couch. So you got to be careful when you're looking through those listings. I almost got caught doing that. I was thinking, why is this Airbnb $25? This seems way too low, right? And it's like a one room, but this looks like a house. And then they finally read through it, and it's, you're sleeping on their couch. So beware, but Airbnb is awesome. I don't know. I got way off track there. But yes, regular season tickets, at least early access, went on sale today. We have general public goes on sale Thursday. So let me ask you this. So I know you're going up to D.C. You're in Florida, but you're North Florida, right? You're near Tallahassee?
No, I am near the city what they like to call Duval.
Oh, okay.
Jacksonville,
okay, all right. I know some people out in Jacksonville, and they always talk about how nice it is. Is that true? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can say the same about here. There's nice parts. I think that's with anywhere.
I'm trying to figure out people's image. The curve, was it enthusiasm?
Yeah,
the guy going,
exactly.
That's basically what Jacksonville is. That's
EH.gif.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know how far Tampa Bay is from you. That's probably 4 hours?
3.5, 4.
You plan on heading out to any games out there?
Maybe, but as of right now, I really don't know.
Yeah.
So, if there is a game in Tampa, I might go to maybe the final game of the year in Tampa. Hopefully, it could be a possibility of a playoff implication type of game between them and New York. But if not, I might try to swing by to see either the Renegades in Week 7. Or possibly the Battlehawks at Week 6, or maybe Houston Week 3. So, it just depends. If you are willing to come to Tampa,
that's a hard sell. But you know what? I'll try to do it. Let me see. That Houston game. When is Houston playing in Tampa? What
Week 3?
Oh, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Oh man, I don't have that kind of money, man. Oof, yeah, that's a little too soon, but that will be fun. Maybe though, the Renegades play their Week 7, March 21st. What's going on March 21st? I don't know.
March Madness.
Yeah, that one's hard. I don't know. Tampa Bay is a little rough, but I will. Let me look into that because that could be a fun trip. Probably gonna wrap this up soon, but one other thing I do want to talk about. I don't know why people are surprised by this, but I figure it's worth talking about. But there seems to be some surprise from fans online that the XFL is running games during WrestleMania weekend. I don't see how they would have any other choice unless they wanted to do all of the games on Thursday or throughout the week. I don't know the specific day of WrestleMania, but I'm assuming
WrestleMania is April 5th.
April 5th. So, yeah. Tampa Bay, as I would have guessed and assumed, they are on the road because their field's probably going to be busy for a week.
Right.
But interestingly enough, they do play at home the week after. I thought that might be another one, and but they're on the road the week before, which also makes sense because that's like a week-long event of setting those things up at this point.
You got to look at week 9. You got Thursday's game, Dallas and Houston. Then Friday is the NCAA basketball Final Four. Then Saturday you have New York or Washington, New York. Then on Sunday you have no crap. Take that back. The NCAA Final Four is that weekend on Saturday and Monday. WrestleMania is on Sunday. So that whole sports week is crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts. Especially, you add another sport, another league into the mix, really. Yeah, it's going to be nuts because I know WrestleMania is one of those things where it's like, at least at this point, it's almost like a 24-hour event if you're there. But even online at this point, there's so many different companies that are streaming their event, piggybacking off of having a sold-out crowd. Again, I love TNA, and I'll continue to call them TNA. But, man, the only times they ever had sellouts were in the old weekly pay-per-views, which was, 1,000 people. Some of those early Universal Studio ones. And other than that, it was the UK. And even, probably nowadays it's pretty easy because I think it's only like 300 people that go. I did hear a rumor, though, that I'm excited about, if it's true, that TNA may be running a retro event or something like that during Mania weekend. The problem that exists to me is I can't think of one person that really represents old TNA that they can get, other than maybe James Storm. I could see the NWA having a decent working relationship with him. But, to me, if you're going to run a retro TNA event, and I know we're going way different sport, way off field, but who cares? To me, you need AJ Styles. You need AJ Styles. It's a nice to have Bobby Roode. Samoa Joe is almost another need to have. Abyss is probably a need to have. Jeff Jarrett, a need to have. All of those guys under contract to WWE. I know they were talking about the Young Bucks, but they're not. There's no way. There's no way that AEW... It's not even that AEW allows them to go. They don't need to.
Because they are AEW.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
They are executive. They're executive vice presidents. They are AEW.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be cool. It'd be niche. It'd be fun. Now, I guess it all depends. If it's non-televised and they're not selling it or anything like that, maybe we get maybe Abyss. I could see WWE letting Abyss go because I think he's just in creative at this point. Maybe a Sanjay Dutt because I think it's the same thing. Maybe, the old behind the scenes guy. I can't remember his name. Jeremy Borash. But yeah, you're not going to get the big names. So it'll be TNA in name only, which it is what it is. TNA at this point is TNA. Yep. Well, it's Impact. It's not even TNA. Oh, they had to buy a TV network so they could be on TV.
That's why I like to call a hard sell, right?
Yeah. So, all right, I know we went some left field here. Any last thoughts before we cap this bad boy off? We're running a little bit over an hour on this one. And honestly, I need to start pre-gaming because the Astros, we got the World Series tonight, baby. Take it back. So any last thoughts?
Last thoughts. Well, I do have not really last thoughts. I want to give the XFL fans here some rumor updates. Before you guys get too worried about it, I've already did my research. In one of my connections of one of my other Discords, there's rumors, if you watch college football or you read news, Florida State University is pretty much about to part ways with the head coach, Willie Taggart. one of those candidates for the replacement of Willie Taggart is Bob Stoops. I got in contact with the assistant coach of the Dallas Renegades, and he might be joining us for a podcast later in the week or later this month. And I talked to him a very extensive questionnaire about the situation. Before you guys get freaked out about hearing rumors about Bob Stoops going to Florida State, I'm going to tell you right now, put that to rest. Bob Stoops loves the XFL. He wants to build the Dallas team. It's less work for him, basically. He doesn't have to recruit. And when I come to find out, he's getting paid pretty good for being the coach for only 6 months. So, put that rumor to rest, just telling you guys, so you guys don't, when you see on Twitter or one of those other sites report that Bob Stoops is eligible, throw that to the trash. It's not eligible. He is staying in the XFL at least for this year and next year. Don't know about year 3 because we don't know if the league's going to be around in year 3. But other news that I want to get out, we're launching a new podcast in XFL Newsroom. Homeboy hasn't finished the logo, but it's going to be called XFL Newsroom Unhinged. It's going to be hosted by me and me only. I'll be by myself. It's basically me being Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Kurt Manahan type of individuals. If you don't know who those individuals are, look them up and listen to their shows. Then you'll realize this might be a podcast where you may not want to subscribe if you get easily triggered. Because I'll be calling out a lot of stuff about the XFL fans, and as the season progresses, little things. But they're going to be a little short 15 to 20-minute episodes, not really long. I'm going to just, rant, post, and you guys enjoy. So besides from that, yeah, it's been a very active week on my end for rumors and stuff, so yeah.
Yeah, I really wish I had that triggered GIF on hand for that, just to flash that one up on the screen. That's one of my all-time favorites, is I probably shouldn't even talk about this, but anyway. Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, we're getting some more content. We recently got a correspondent for DC, so check his article out on XFL Newsroom. And if you're interested, if you're in any of the locations where there's a franchise being held, and that's probably not the best way to work at, but if you live where there's the XFL, and you're interested in writing for XFL Newsroom, drop us a line. Hit the correspondent. Yeah, sign us up. Like I said, we're going to try to get everybody access to all sorts of events. Like I said, we were at the Summer Showcase out here. We're at the Spring League. I know there's going to be events across the country that we can't attend, but we still want to cover them, right? So yeah, hit us up. Click the contact page on xflnewsroom.com, which you should be checking out daily. There's a reason we're the #1 source in XFL news, and we're not just having a good time while doing it, we're signing you up as well. But hey, before we let you go, if you didn't know, we're also on Facebook and Twitter, so make sure you drop us a follow over there and get signed up while you're doing it. And since we're on YouTube, make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell to see when we're dropping new videos. Plus, if you do all those things, as well as join our Discord, you'll be entered into our next giveaway for 2 tickets to any game in this upcoming season. So sign you up. I think the XF podcast, you guys have a giveaway going on as well, right?
Yes. We're going to be doing, when we start doing our weekly podcast, we're going to have a little trivia questions, and basically it's for the dedicated listeners who have listened to our shows over the last 2 years. Well, ask a question about what Carlos said or what I said, and you got to give us the actual, what we said. And if you're right, each week, 2 tickets. They're not going to be club seats, people. Just saying.
Probably not mine either. So don't get your hopes up.
They're either going to be nosebleeds if there are nosebleeds available, or they're going to be the $25 ticket range, and it's games of your choice if you're located. And if you just win the contest and you're nowhere near, thank you for joining the contest. But yes, each week of the 2020 season, we'll be giving away 2 tickets to your game of your choosing if you win our contest. So we're really looking forward to doing that. It's just get more interactive and spreading the league. Join, our main goal here at XFL Newsroom and X Podcast is to grow the league. One thing that the AAF did not have was dedicated fan podcasts like we do here in the XFL side. We do have our competitors who they do their thing, and we have us. You didn't have that in the AAF. So our goal here is to promote the league. So we're helping the fans who can't, get tickets, win the contest, and you go enjoy your time and get your day at a local XFL game. That's our goal. Our goal is to make you, the people, happy. And remember, like, share, and subscribe.
Sign everyone up. So, hey, thanks everyone for joining us. Tune in again Friday. I'll be there for This Week in the XFL every week at 11 a.m. Eastern. And 8 a.m. Pacific. Geez, I don't know my time zones anymore. I think it's about time to sign up. Thanks for joining me, it is time for me to sign out. Thanks for joining me, JDash. Click the links down in the description. Like I said, subscribe here, subscribe there. And then once again, sign everyone up.